The crop of candidates hoping to unseat Iowa Senator Joni Ernst just got a little bigger. State Representative and local pro baseball pitcher J.D. Scholten threw his hat in the game after Ernst told a town hall audience recently, quote, "We are all going to die." The two-term senator's tone-deaf remark was in response to constituents' concerns over President Trump's big, beautiful bill. It's set to cut $880 billion from Medicaid over a decade.
Scholten's foray into politics was in 2018, his first foray, when he lost to embattled GOP Congressman Steve King. And then in 2020, he lost to Randy Fenestra. Now Scholten is hoping to score a home run all the way to Washington. 2026, he joins us now to discuss. Welcome to Rising.
Thank you for having me, and I appreciate the baseball pun.
I did too.
We thank our producers and scriptwriters for that. Tell us, in your own words, why you're interested in joining the Senate.
Yeah, this is one of those races that was at the top of my mind in the past few weeks, thinking about doing it. And then when Joni Ernst had those comments on Friday, I was actually on my way to a family friend's funeral where he was a Democratic activist here in Sioux City, and Senator Harkin, who used to have that seat, was actually in attendance. And just, when you're at a funeral and you have all these thoughts about life and everything, that's when my juices started getting flowing. And then the Saturday when that quote unquote apology, that was very disrespectful to Iowans. And that's when I thought, you know what, game on, let's do this.
You made it pretty clear that you're not waiting for a quote-unquote perfect moment to launch your campaign, but I want to know specifically, what about now, not only in Iowa, but nationally, makes this moment feel like it's the time to move forward?
Well, I think so much about politics is matching the moment and meeting the moment. And so that's one thing where, last summer I got an opportunity to play professional baseball for the first time in 17 years. And what I learned from that experience is opportunity doesn't come at convenient times. And so when it comes to running for office and whether my congressional campaign back in 2018 or my state house races, I've overperformed the top of the ticket in every single race. And so here in Iowa, if we're looking to win as Democrats, the wave is not probably going to get us there. We have to go beyond that. And that's something that I'm proud of. And just being in the race this week, we got in on Monday. Tuesday, the ratings changed. They went from solid Republican to likely Republican, so it's shifting in our favor. And then there was a poll yesterday that shows a generic Democrat against Joni Ernst is down only 2 points. Well, we're not generic, outperformed the top of the ticket every single race. My last state house race, I won in a Trump district pretty easily. So you add all that together, and you see the momentum on the ground right now here in Iowa.
So in Iowa, clearly to win, you'll need to earn votes from Republicans. And while protecting entitlements is a top priority of even Republican, conservative, older voters, it is nevertheless the case that a lot of Republicans agree with Elon Musk and other people in the MAGA coalition that the federal government spends too much money, that the debt is a problem. The big, beautiful bill is, despite what Trump says and despite what a lot of Republicans say, it is going to add trillions to our deficit. What do you say to Republicans whose votes you want, who we can debate the details of what gets cut, but think something has to get cut in order to balance the budget and not doom the future generation?
Well, there's balancing the budget, and there's what this bill does. This bill is going to devastate, not only kick people off health insurance, it's going to go after rural hospitals, rural nursing homes, and that's going to hurt our already struggling rural communities. Most of Iowa has not bounced back since the 2008 economic crisis. And so when you have an economy that is an extractive economy, these small towns are just shades of what they used to be. That's why people are feeling so frustrated. And so, targeting just Republicans or just Democrats or independents, our campaign has always been, from my congressional campaigns to now, about welcoming people into our coalition. And we have a proven track record of that, especially in the 2018 race where we took a district Trump won by 27 and narrowly defeated Steve King and just lost by 3 points.
You've been vocal and called out the system for favoring billionaires. So what are some tangible policies that you propose to kind of level the playing field for people that are working class in Iowa or even small farmers?
Oh, we need to change the farm bill completely. We need to add competition to the farm bill. we got to get back to our roots. Antitrust laws had started here in Iowa. We have a track record of, like, the Packers and Stockyards Act came from a congressman who's from the same small town my grandma grew up in. And so the whole reason I got into politics is because my grandmother, she, God bless her, on her deathbed told me, you got to take care of the farm. And so for me, it's I continue to run on the same issues. It's fight for universal health care, fix the economy so it works for everybody, and it's secure our democracy from the special interests and the billionaires that are dictating it right now.
The Democratic Party suffered a pretty bruising loss in this last election that gave Republicans control of all of Congress and the executive, and Republicans already have control of the courts at a lot of levels. What is your advice to the Democratic Party as it figures out which direction to head next? I think, we're debating the abundance agenda versus more economic populism. Is the Bernie Sanders direction the future of the party? Is it a kind of centrism that is turning on wokeness? What is your view on the directions Democrats should take to be more competitive in future elections?
Yeah, I'm a proud Prairie populist, and so I'm economic populism all the way. One of my heroes and a friend, the late Congressman Berkeley Bedell, for folks who don't know, he was a congressman in Northwest Iowa, which is very conservative, and he would win as a Democrat with like 60%. And his early 80s reelection poster said, "The 1% controls your government. Does the 99% have a chance? How do we rescue our democracy?" And then Berkeley Bedell has answers. And so here we are, decades later, and the same issues are at play. And so, and at the forefront of everything. So, this race, last fall, I was not thinking about this, but then in inauguration, when I saw those four tech billionaires up there ahead of the whole cabinet, I thought that was just a disgusting part of our democracy. Judge Brandeis has that great quote saying, "We can have wealth in a concentrated few hands, or we can have a democracy, but we cannot have both." And so I'm for team democracy, and that means we need to get more power to everyday people.
And JD, you're running in a state that hasn't sent a Democrat to the U.S. Senate in a long time, I believe 2 decades. So how do you plan to defy that trend?
Yeah, it's not going to be easy, but the reality is this year, the 2026 cycle, is going to be favorable for Democrats. And again, a wave will not get us there. But if you can run a campaign, a grassroots campaign, so I plan on getting Sioux City Sioux back, which in my congressional campaigns, it was a Winnebago RV. And the whole goal was just to get out there to the people. Now we'll be fundraising to get that and launch a 99 county tour in the fall. So if folks want to go to scholtenforiowa.com and chip in a few bucks, that helps us get Sioux City Sioux back. So when you get out there to the people, prove you're trustworthy and prove that you're going to fight for them, you're going to earn votes. And what I've learned in my state house races that was different from my congressional races is we got to not only target all people, we have to make sure that people who are not voting, get them active. So I tend to go after the B's and the S's, the barbers, the bartenders, the baristas, the servers, and the stylists. Those people are all talking to other people, and most of them are Democrats. And so if we can get them activated and welcoming into our coalition, I think that is part of our grassroots movement.
JD Scholten, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Up next, Joe Biden hits back at Trump after the president calls for an investigation into Biden's actions as president. Stay with us.